irregularities in his nomination forms as the primary reason for his disqualification. These irregularities raise questions about the validity of his candidacy and sparked intense debate within the political landscape, promoting concerns about the fairness and transparency of the electoral process in Ghana. Bernard Mona was seeking an order restraining the EC from embarking on any activity relating to the presidential election until he is declared as a duly nominated candidate and be allowed to contest the elections. An order of electoral caution the EC's decision to disqualify him from contending as a presidential candidate in the 2024 presidential elections, and an order of mandamus compelling the chairman of the EC, that's Jane Mensah, to declare him as duly nominated to contest the elections. However, the judge, after consideration of all the issues, have ruled against Bernard Mona and the PNC. Meanwhile, the disqualified flag bearer has also served notice that he will challenge the ruling of the Accra High Court that dismissed his case against the EC. Addressing the media after the ruling, Bernard Mona expressed displeasure about the judge's ruling on the case. Now, Bernard also was praying that the court to restrain the EC from embarking on any activity relating to the presidential election until he is declared as duly nominated candidate and allowed to contest the elections, and an order of statutory quashing the EC's decision to disqualify him from contesting as a presidential candidate in the 2024 presidential elections.
Wishing to be president?
Absolutely not. First, let me thank the team that has always been here, the national chairman and his vice, the chiefs and queen mothers, and of course, the next vice president of the republic. Clearly, this is a vitiation of justice. Clearly, it appears that there's some attempt to undermine multi-party democracy and the festering of dissent within our democratic processes. What my lawyer has just said is testimony that the government of our issue was not looked at by the judge. We came to court on Exhibit 4. We only drew attention that Exhibit 2, which was written on the 13th, indicating the specific pages that the Electoral Commission claimed were incomplete particulars of our supporters. When the Electoral Commission drew our attention to those specific pages, we corrected them and resubmitted same. My General Secretary is here, he submitted it. What is in contention is that Exhibit 4 came from the Electoral Commission indicating that we are disqualified on the basis of the detection of several errors and omissions. As a journalist, what is your definition of several errors and omissions? What is the type of error are they talking about? Is it data entry?
Joining us on the line is the national chairman of the People's National Convention, Asaki Awingobit. Good afternoon, Asaki.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Well, thanks for joining us on ABC Midday. First of all, let me ask you, were you anticipating this ruling from the High Court?
Was I what?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, you said, was I what? Come again.
I'm asking if you were predicting any verdicts like this from the High Court.
No, not at all. Well, good afternoon and good afternoon to your listeners. I must say today was one of the saddest days for me and my political party. As you said, we were not expecting this. We were expecting victory, nothing but victory. But unfortunately, the judge has ruled, and be as it may, we respect it, but we disagree with the judge. But respect his ruling.
So if you were not really anticipating this ruling from the High Court, to what end exactly is this action, taken by the High Court going to affect the PNC come this 2024 general election?
Well, what it means is that if you are unable to appeal or to call for go to the Supreme Court for review of his judgment, what it means is that we will not have to participate in the 2024 election per the disqualification. But we are very optimistic that we have a genuine case. From our estimation, we believe that the judge didn't base his judgment based on the case that we took to court. He rather based on his judgment on the EC response, saying that we were given an opportunity to do corrections and file same, and we did the corrections, and still they found errors in our applications, and based on that they have disqualified us. And so, but what the EC introduced in their in their application for their response to the court was that they detected what we call signatures in our nomination form, and those signatures look like similar, and they think that they're using that one to disqualify us. And then, of course, including the numerous omissions and then the errors. But we all know that when the EC made the announcement to the whole public, the EC never in any way, including the letters that was written to me, our party, did not state anywhere that they have found signatures that were looking similar. And for that matter, they think that it is a repetition of one person who have signed more than four applicants or four supporters, and for that matter, they think that they disqualify us based on that. But what the EC is communicating to us and what the EC introduced in court are two different, and so we think that our candidate wasn't given proper hearing. We know about what is in the EC CI, I think 127 or so, that gives opportunity for political parties. For the EC to meet with political parties and give them the ample time to do all the corrections. All the corrections that were made to us, the area that were pointed to us to do the correction, we in our estimation, we did correct all the form and then submit to him, and they confirm. If they never came back to us to say that they have identified the other errors or omissions, and for that matter, they demand on us to do the correction. So we can strongly tell you that the judge has ruled. We respected his ruling, but we disagree with his judgment.
Your flag bearer just after the court hearing stated that he will also challenge the case in the Supreme Court. Is that the issue at hand, sir?
Yes, we intend to hold a FED meeting, functional executive meeting, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll definitely discuss all this. We'll also requested the lawyers to also apply, and which they did apply to get the satisfied ruling of the court. They will study it and then brief us in our meeting, and then we'll see the next line of action. But of course, yes, there's opportunity for us to do appeal. There's opportunity for us to also ask for review of the judgment at the Supreme Court. And so we have all these two options that we can deploy. Or what we can use this opportunity to appeal to all the rank and file of party, that we shall hold a meeting, functional meeting tomorrow, and then we shall come out with a decision to communicate to the rest of the country.
Well, with barely 2 months to the elections, won't going to the Supreme Court be an exercise in futility for the party, and for the matter should be considering, re-registering for the next election?
Not because you are left with 2 months election, we should allow such an injustice to be meted to we in the party. We strongly believe that even if there will be election tomorrow and we go to court to win, the EC will have to find ways and means to add this onto the ballot. And so 2 months to election is even enough days for us.
So won't the PNC in this case be holding the electoral process to ransom by seeking to go to court, the Supreme Court?
It is our constitutional right, and I think that the EC also said that it is their discretionary right to disqualify us. Is that not it? It is our constitutional right to go to court. So what did you want us to do? You wanted us to go to EC headquarters with cutlasses and stones and sticks to say at all costs they should add us to the ballot because we think that they have infringed our right, or they did not give us the appropriate time to do the correction. Is that what you were expecting us to do? No. We are law-abiding citizens. We are a very responsible political party. The best thing is to, if we think that the EC hasn't done the right thing, we go for the law, and that is why we are going to court. We are not in any way saying that EC should not do his or her work. The EC is doing his work, but the EC should be mindful that people are in court.
All right. Thanks for speaking with us, Mr. Awingobet. He is the national chairman for the People's National Convention. Samuel Asaki Awingobet is the spokesperson for the PNC over there. So let's move away from that to Parliament, where the members of the National Democratic Congress NDC caucus in Parliament have asserted that the Speaker's declaration of the 4 seats in the House still holds. Now, declaration of 4 seats in the House still holds, and they now constitute the majority caucus in the House. Now, they therefore have expressed their readiness to jealously protect their new majority status and will not bow or retreat or surrender their lawfully earned status.
Parliament now constitute the majority caucus in line with the standing orders of Ghana's Parliament. Yeah. Fellow countrymen and women, the NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our new majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status. Yeah. I repeat, fellow countrymen and women, the NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our newly majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status. Yeah. We will also not abdicate our responsibility to the people of Ghana, no matter what. Nothing, absolutely nothing, will change this position. We are fortified that the proceedings of Parliament shall not be impeached or questioned in any court or placed out of Parliament. Any interference with the business of Parliament is unlawful, unacceptable, and shall be resisted. We have never hidden our position that we are in Parliament for the ordinary people of Ghana. It is indeed true that we will use our new majority numbers to benefit Ghanaians by introducing private members' bill to remove the e-levy and to reduce the suffering of the people of Ghana. Yes. It is also true that we will use our new majority to remove the betting tax and other nuisance taxes. Yes. Already, this NPP government has made Ghana a high tax regime, and that it is affecting the survival.
Meanwhile, members of Parliament from the National Democratic Congress NDC side have said that they will protect their new majority status in Parliament following last Thursday's declaration of 4 seats vacant, and by that, they have said they will act swiftly to repeal the electronic e-levy on mobile money transactions and betting tax. Speaking at a press conference on Sunday, their leader, Dr. Kazel Atuforsen, said the NDC will use its newfound numbers to push policies aimed at easing the economic burden on Ghanaians. He promised that the NDC will use its majority to remove the e-levy through a private member's bill and the betting tax, emphasizing that the move is aimed at reducing the suffering caused by the tax.
Fellow countrymen and women, the NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our newly majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status. Yeah. We will also not abdicate our responsibility to the people of Ghana, no matter what. Nothing, absolutely nothing, will change this position. We are fortified that the proceedings of Parliament shall not be impeached or questioned in any court or placed out of Parliament. Any interference with the business of Parliament is unlawful, unacceptable, and shall be resisted. We have never hidden our position that we are in Parliament for the ordinary people of Ghana. It is indeed true that we will use our new majority numbers to benefit Ghanaians by introducing private members' bill to remove the e-levy and to reduce the suffering of the people of Ghana. It is also true that we will use our new majority to remove the betting tax and other nuisance taxes. Already, this NPP government has made Ghana a high tax.
Well, we understand that the National Peace Council is meeting leadership of both parties to know exactly how best they can tackle this. For sure, we also anticipating some happenings in Parliament tomorrow, because Speaker would also have to speak on the issue, because rebuttal report where the Supreme Court has also given their verdict about that. So more anticipation on tomorrow's sitting in Parliament. Meanwhile, the conversations we're getting right now is that the National Peace Council is in talks with the leadership. But away from that, let's move to politics, where the Vice President of the New Patriotic Party, the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has reminded the opposition NDC that parliamentary majority is achieved through wins at the polling station level within constituencies not manufactured in Parliament. This follows Thursday's dramatic event in Parliament, where the Speaker declared 4 seats held by the MPs contesting the 2024 election a different ticket as vacant.
Choway, enti ehia paase yetu abanoma Dr. Bawumia, but ehia more so say yentu abamano Emma Joseph Frimpong, because ye pay parliamentary majority. And yes sir, ye ko munim said the TSCA omu hayeno eye 137 enra echi omu ye ade bi wo Parliament kase omuni majority semotiye anyway omu ya 24 hours majority anje bia baby 24-hour majority na omunyaye, the shortest living majority that I know of in history. 24-hour majority na omunyaye. Now at the end I want to say me person omo tie say upe majority come to the polling station, come to the constituency, win an election, and then go to Parliament. You untina Parliament to manufacture a majority for yourself. And yes, sir, we will meet them in the constituencies, we will meet them at the polling stations. And what I can assure you, from what I know, over 200 constituencies, I've campaigned on the ground. I've seen the data. And I can tell you, sir, Yato Abano and MPP will have a decisive.
Still on this issue, Communications Officer for the Parliamentary Network Africa, Clement Akola, has expressed concerns of a hint of potential military deployment to Parliament, noting that such acts would exacerbate the already violent tension in Parliament. This comes on the back of the claims by the MP for Adaklu, Kwame Agboja, at yesterday's NDC majority they say they are, caucus presser, suggesting that their outfit is aware of attempt by some officials to deploy the military to Parliament on Tuesday, October 22. According to the legislature, such act will fiercely be resisted to avoid a recurrence of the mayhem that ensued upon the dissolution of the 7th Parliament. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Clement Akola warned that such a move could undermine democratic norms and further escalate tension in the chamber.
And it doesn't bode well for our political system, our parliamentary system. And we fear that what happened to this parliament at the beginning of the 8th Parliament might end up happening again, where we had all kinds of altercations and near fisticuffs on the floor of Parliament, even with the invitation of security persons, that is the military, into the house and all that. And that's not what we want to see in our democracy, especially our parliamentary democracy. So we fear that these things may repeat themselves, especially so when the first one happened on the 7th of January 2021. We have not actually found any antidote to those things that happened on the floor of Parliament. We have not found those who were culpable for anything that happened on the floor of Parliament. No report has been issued about those who actually caused those things, and it doesn't bode well for our political system, our parliamentary system.
Meanwhile, constitutional lawyer Kwame Adolfo has stated that the Supreme Court's decision to halt the execution of the Speaker's directive of declaration of parliamentary seat vacant falls squarely within its legal prerogative, dismissing claims of blatant disregard for separation of powers. In an interview on ABC News, the legal luminary explained that while the separation of power is vital in any democratic system, there are safeguards in place to prevent overreach by any one breach. He noted that the judiciary serves as a ultimate arbitrary in matters of constitutional interpretation, underscoring its key role in maintaining checks and balances within the government.
Parliamentarians themselves took it to the Supreme Court. In our colloquial way, they were sitting there somewhere, minding their own business, and you people took it there. You know, they were sitting in their office or in their chambers, in their courts, and somebody, one of you politicians, you yourself, took it there. So they invited the Supreme Court to come in. Now, the Supreme Court hasn't even done anything yet. All the Supreme Court has done is say, hold on a minute, please exercise patience. The consequence or the consequential orders you've made, that they should not even be allowed in the house anymore. And if you listen or you read the reasons for the decision made by the Speaker, it says those members no longer have interests in their constituents, and nor do they have any loyalty to their constituents, the basis upon which he reached that decision. Now, how is that justifiable? How is that reasonable?
Still in Parliament, governance expert Dr. Fred Ojo has called for respect for rule of law in the country. This comes on the back of claims suggesting that the Supreme Court's directive of halting the execution of the Speaker Alban Bagman's decision to declare the seat of 4 members of Parliament vacant on Thursday evening was politically motivated. Speaking on ABC in the morning, he stated any assertion of bias undermines the credibility of our legal system and ought to be curtailed.
Is that you tell us when each one of them was also appointed into various positions. I would want us to accept to be people of rule of law or not. We can't have our cake and we can't eat our cake and still have it.
We can't eat our cake
I think we are choosing when it pleases us. When it goes for us, we think the system is good. When it doesn't work for us, we will criticize the system. After Fulton went to court, one court he felt was not dealing with him well. He went to a superior court. The superior court ruled in his favor. He is now a free person. He came out hailing the court system. Why is it that today he sought to become a majority leader? The court has vacated the ruling of the Speaker. But he thinks because the court did not support their action, the court suddenly becomes bad. But this same court system freed him from probable, imprisonment. But that court system is bad. I don't think we are being fair to ourselves as a people.
Okay, you don't think?
I think we as a people, there are more important and critical things we need to be concerned with. Okay. If the NDC becomes the majority today, what will be the use of that to Ghana as a country.
Joining us on the line is the MP for Anyaso Tiom, Dr. Dixon Adumakokisi, to have a conversation on this. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, let me ask you, how does the NPP caucus take the warning and position of the NDC caucus on the Supreme Court ruling?
Well, I have given this whole thing some extra thinking, and I will ask the question. You know, Ronaldo can be playing in a tournament and sign up with another team for a different tournament, and no referee will sack Ronaldo from the pitch because he has signed up with another club for another tournament. And I really think that that is a very perfect example of the reason why I'm of the opinion that if you are in the 8th Parliament and you have an intention to do business in Parliament under a different ticket for the next Parliament, then you cannot be meted out a judgment for your actions in the future. And this is so much in line with what even Mahama Ayariga said when Michael Okwe made his ruling. And what has changed now? So I really think that the Speaker had an opportunity to undo a wrong precedent, but he failed. He failed on that grounds, and in fact, it is unfortunate that the Speaker had a fantastic opportunity but failed to really right a wrong from the past. Now, moving forward, the key thing here is that we are a house of rules and regulations, and then more importantly, of record. And I'm of the opinion that as it stands now, the Speaker, literally being the has to make it clear to us as parliamentarians whether he's going to act in accordance with the court or not. And then my key question is that in the Ascend North situation, where the Speaker of Parliament waited for the appropriate processes to unfold before he vacated the seat, what has changed now? Why, in his wisdom, did he not allow for the appropriate processes and appropriate, notice to him, direct as a Speaker, to take an action happen? And these are the questions. So I'm hoping by midnight today or early morning by 8 a.m. or 10 a.m., there will be some clarity in terms of the Speaker's decision and the fact that he holds an office not by virtue of just him as an individual, but he wields power because of the people and not just him. And I'm hoping that his decisions will be guided and by the fact that democracy requires of him to make a very monumental, not political decision. And that is what I'm hoping for. And we hope that, one, the MPP has said countless times that we're going to abide by the rules of engagement. We'll not go there with any arms. We're going to be gentlemen and women and make sure that our decisions are decisions that are, agreeable by the masses and for the people we represent.
Well, your leader, Afenyo Markins, before I move on to my next question, has also said something after this verdict by the Speaker, saying that this is going to cause serious chaos in Parliament, and for that matter, the leadership, that's the NPP caucus, are boycotting parliamentary affairs. Do you also believe that the Speaker has indeed or will be causing chaos in coming days?
Well, I'm hoping that, like I said, the Speaker will look at the merit of what is before him now, and be guided by the fact that he needs to right the wrong and not take a political decision, but a decision based on the position he has. And he owes it to Ghana and the nation to take a decision that would keep this country sane, keep this country together. And I really think that, there'll be calm and, people with ego would come down to, so that we don't have an ego fight in here, but we would have, very, very well thought out, clean these systems, and I'm hoping midnight today or early tomorrow, some understanding would occur, and certainly Parliament has to be a reflection of a place where we take decisions after a lot of serious scrutiny, and not just on the whims of political association or affiliation. And listen, I personally, as a member of the MPP, can say in clear terms that I've always been of the opinion that the rights of Fomina MP was trampled when Professor Michael Oquay made that decision, because at that time, his rights were not just his rights, but the rights of the people of Fomina to representation in Parliament. And this should be very carefully looked at, that when you trample the rights of an individual member of Parliament, it is not just him, but the rights of the people, the masses, over 40,000 people that he represents. And this should be afforded to each of the, parliamentarians. And as it stands now, if I put my American hat, then I'm assuming that the 4 members of Parliament have every right to sue Parliament on the grounds of vacating them, erroneously, because their submission or filing is for a future engagement, not in the current, 8th Parliament.
Well, Mr. Dumako, just as you say that the Speaker has trampled upon the Fomina MP's right, let me just go back into the 7th Parliament, where the then Speaker, Professor Michael Oquay, also ruled in similar. The MPP majority then didn't have an issue with that, and just as you're explaining, now the Speaker also has, according to what he said, he's also going back the old precedents, and now it's like there's chaos, quote unquote, already.
No, at some point in time, not all precedents are necessarily followed. When in fact, in the Roman Empire, those who said the world was, round and moving in a circular manner were killed. And when all the sciences proved that the world truly was, that the earth was truly round and was moving around in a circular manner, they changed. They changed the precedents. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. So this is the situation where I believe that, the argument, and I will say this, if you're working for one company and your contract ends in January 7th, and you are signing on to another company with a contract after your contract with the current company, why must you be sacked? I mean, this is human resource question 101. Why must you be sacked? And you are being truthful with your worker that, hey, my contract ends on the 7th, and beyond the 7th, this is my intention. I want to work with a different company. And if the contract I signed up with you, there's nothing barring any member of Parliament from signing up with another, organization or association. Nothing. But in between January 7th of 2020 and 2021 and January 7th of 2025, if you want to change your vendor, your ticket, then I agree with you. You should vacate. But not when this is about a contract beyond 2025, which none of us, Parliament will have no bearing on any member of Parliament unless they are sworn in, on January 7th. There'll be nothing. To hold any of these members who may or may not even win, based on the ticket which they are standing on now. So I really think that from a very layman's point of view, this is very clear cut. Our contract with Parliament and the people we serve, or the party we are with, ends January 7th, subject to renewal when we are re-sworn in, if we are coming with a different party or different intent or whatever. And we cannot be faulted today for an intention beyond the contract that we signed with our Ghanaian people.
All right. Mr. Dumako, before I let you go, yesterday I believe you watched the NDC caucus press where they claimed that they have also received some intel information that your side is seeking to bring in military in Parliament tomorrow.
No.
Is there any truth to this?
No, I think that we've said on countless occasions that we believe in the rule of law, and in Parliament, the authority for exercising order is the marshals, not the military. So I don't think that we intend to break that rule. We'll make sure that the marshals will maintain order. They'll protect the lives of both the minority and the majority and the speaker. And that is what we know must happen. If there are police or military around to just maintain order beyond the premises of Parliament or within the premises of Parliament, I don't think there'll be any problem. But I really sincerely know that we intend to ensure that the integrity of Parliament is maintained.
Thanks for speaking with us, Dr. Dixon Adumakokisi. He is the MP for Anya Sotium, speaking to us over there. Now, we're trying to establish contact to get more on this related issue, but just as you may have known, so far yesterday, the majority, the NDC caucus, I'm just saying, also gave a presser and letting us know exactly that they're not going by the Supreme Court's order, saying that the 4 members of Parliament that earlier the Speaker of Parliament declared a seat vacant, they're no more actually considering the Supreme Court's decision. However, they go according to what the Speaker say, and until the Speaker, has announced that, well, he is also siding with the Supreme Court, this decision still holds. And yesterday in their presser also, they issued an interesting communication saying that they also have gathered some intel from the military saying that they will be invading Parliament tomorrow. Quite some interesting happenings, and we also anticipating to know exactly what will be happening tomorrow in Parliament. Just as that we will be bringing news. But so far, as it stands now, the NDC is still, well, if according to what the minority still claims about. But joining us on the phone is we are joined on the phone by security analyst Adib Sani to also have a conversation on this. Good afternoon, sir.
Sorry, it's stored their production.
Hello, Mr. Nochu. Good afternoon. Sorry, Adib Sani. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Apologies over there.
That's okay.
All right. So, looking at the incidents and the ongoing brouhaha that's happening in Parliament, the tension brewing in Parliament and the likely escalation tomorrow, what are we supposed to expect, and what, in your view, as a security analyst, is all this about?
Well, I've seen prominent people such as Okucheto talk about the need for the Peace Council to intervene. I have also been very worried. I've spoken with a number of friends of mine who are parliamentarians, and quite obviously some of them would be in Parliament very early. I wouldn't be surprised if some sleep in Parliament tonight, because they would definitely want to take the side of the aisle that they want, which would also be rigorously contested by the other side. If care is not taken, it might lead to fisticuffs or perhaps violent confrontation that would require the intervention of the security services, either the police or the military, like the last time it happened. The last time the military got involved, some of us within the civil society space were very concerned about it. We spoke vehemently about it. And I wouldn't think that the government would want to repeat that mistake. And so what I think might happen is the police coming into the chamber to intervene, which once again would be an affront to our democracy. The worst case scenario might be their followers also taking cue from their refs and also engaging in violent confrontations on the ground, which I must say would be very dangerous for us as we go into this year's elections, which is proven to be quite decisive, with the stakes being high. But with what has happened in Parliament, I must say it has further heightened the stakes, and I am very worried about the stance taken by the Supreme Court and how they have become so political, and how their decisions or their judgments is posing a serious threat to our democracy.
Recounting what happened on the 9th of January 2021, how dangerous is this to our parliamentary work and Ghana's democracy?
Well, obviously, parliamentary work would stall. We might have honorable members engaged in, violent clashes like it happened in 2021. And like I also indicated, their followers might take cue from what is happening in Parliament and also engage in violent activities. But of the biggest worry to me is the fact that we're going into an election, which is a very important election. In fact, like I always say, it is one of the most important because that is what would determine whether indeed we have arrived as a truly consolidated democracy or we are still experimenting. But with these things happening, trust me, it creates a very incendiary situation. If not looked at carefully, might spiral into widespread chaos.
Of the lack of investigation into the previous military entry into Parliament that has brought up back this conversation?
Can you come again, please?
I'm saying that also of the view or believe that it's because of the lack of investigation into the previous military entry into Parliament that has brought back this conversation again.
No, I think this is all as a result of the decision by the Supreme Court to put in place a stay of execution. Because this has happened before. There was a ruling by the Speaker, specifically speaking, Michael Kay. It was quite straightforward. So what many Ghanaians are asking is why something that has a precedence is being, taken differently this time around. And I think that is where the problem is. And if things get violent, we would have no option but to have security agents come in to stop it.
Before I let you go, Mr. Adib Sani, tomorrow is the big day because definitely Parliament will be sitting and we can also anticipate happenings in Parliament tomorrow. But what is your prediction for tomorrow and what should we also be expecting?
Well, I fear there will be, if the preventative diplomacy doesn't happen, the Peace Council, the Office of the National Chief Imam, the Christian Council, and a whole lot of other stakeholders, if they don't immediately get to work and engage the various actors, particularly the leadership in Parliament and all that, we might have people scrambling for the same chair. And when it happens, it might turn violent, and people might hit each other. Perhaps chairs or other office stationery might be thrown at each other, and the police would intervene, and it will be a national day of shame. That is based on a certain straightforward issue. If the Peace Council and other stakeholders don't intervene, that is what exactly is going to happen. And I want you to mark it where water will touch.
For speaking with us, Adib Sani, and he is a security analyst, and he has also given us some insights into what we'll be expecting on tomorrow's Parliament. Now, let's move on to some education-related matters because the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has released the provisional results for the Basic Education Certificate Examination, BEC 2024. A staggering 41 school candidates have had their entire results cancelled due to examination malpractice. The BEC is typically held in June and the results are released in October. The examination covers a wide range of subjects including mathematics, English language, science, social studies and religious and moral education. Following the completion of the investigation into several cases of irregularities detected during the conduct of the examination and marking of script, WAEC has cancelled the subject result of 377 schools candidate and 3 private candidates for the offences of bringing foreign materials into the examination hall or colluding with other candidates. Now again, the entire results of 41 school candidates and 1 private candidate have been cancelled. The entire results of the 33 school candidates and 3 private candidates also have been withheld. Let's take a look at the statistics of the 2023 and 2024 BEC results to understand the change so far. And as you can see over there on your screens, so in 2023 and 2024 BEC results statistics, so a total number of candidates in 2023, which is about 6,000, 6 million, 600 candidates. Then again, in 2024, we had about 569,236 candidates sitting to write the BEC. Now, genders included, in 2023, we had 3,404 males and 3,496 females. Now 2024 also we had about 2,702 males and 286,533 females. Now participating schools involved as at 2023 had about 18,993 participants or participating schools. Then in 2024 we had about 19,505 participating schools, and just as you see on your screens over there. Now the 2023 we had about 53 candidates with visual impairments sit to write the exams, where 366 also having hearing impairments, and then 54 candidates also with other special educational needs sitting to write the 2023 BEC. Then again, in 2024, we had about 59 visually impaired candidates sit for the exams. Then again, about 263 hearing impaired candidates also sat. Then we had about 161 with other special education needs. Now, absentees who were recorded during the examination also recorded as of 2023. We saw about 3,366 candidates who were absent during this examination period. That was in 2023. Then again, vis-a-vis the 2024 examination, we had 3,845 candidates sit for the examination. Quite a slight margin over there. Now, in the 2023 examination, more practices, just as you see on your screen, there were cancellations of subject results of about 312 school candidates and 3 private candidates for bringing in foreign materials, just as you see on your screens. Yes. So, cancellation of entire results of 41 school candidates and 1 private. So 2024 BEC results, just as you see on your screen. So cancellation of subject results, then we have about 337 schools candidates and then 3 private candidates for the BEC over there. Then again, we also had cancellation of the entire results to 41 school candidates and 1 private candidate also involved. So this is 2024 BEC results statistics. Then we also had about an entire result of just 33 schools having their entire examination also being cancelled. 3 persons also were involved over them, and people who were withheld with their results also, we recorded about 149 over there, and that's the release by GES. Away from that, the Commonwealth prepares to elect its next leader, the stakes are high for Ghana for women across the continent. The President Akufo-Addo has left Ghana for someone where he will join 56 heads of state for the 26th Commonwealth meeting scheduled from October 21 to 26. The President's mission is to rally support for Ghana's Foreign Minister Shirley Ayoko-Boche, who is vying for the coveted position of Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Ayoko-Boche faces competition from candidates from the Gambia, the Lesotho, Lesotho. Now, Information Minister Fatima Abubakar in the communique expressed confidence in Ayoko-Boche's chances, highlighting her extensive diplomatic experience, quoting, She has distinguished herself on various international committees, and we are confident that she will bring this home, unquote, Madam Abubakar said. Now, this also emphasized Ayoko Boatres's vision for climate resilience, economic transformation, and youth empowerment through technology. Madam Abubakar added that Ayoko Boatres's leadership could inspire Ghanaian women, quoting that she's been a strong advocate for developing nations, and if elected, she will promote trade and investment across Africa. Away from that, the Ghana Police Service is still on manhunt for suspect Fatao Motorway, who has been declared wanted in connection with the disturbance that occurred between supporters of the New Patriotic Party and National Democratic Congress (NDC) at Mamobi, Accra, on October 13, 2024. The police is appealing to the public to support police intelligence-led efforts by providing information that could lead to his arrest. A reward of 20,000 is being offered for anyone who provides credible information leading to his arrest. We have business and other more packages coming up. Do stay. Business, the Ghana monetary policy rate of 27% is the highest in Africa, the World Bank has revealed. In its latest October 2024 Africa Pulse report, the World Bank said the Bank of Ghana and other central banks have kept interest rates higher and anchor inflation expectations properly and secure a smoother path to their inflation targets. Central bank in countries that still have double-digit inflation and weakened domestic currencies such as Angola, Nigeria and Sierra Leone will keep monetary policy rates higher for longer, and in fewer cases they may increase their policy rates, particularly in countries where inflation rates still have not peaked. Now, broadly, currency weakness, slow fiscal adjustment, the cost pressures are among the factors driving these countries to keep a tighter stance for the longer period. Now, for instance, it said Ethiopia, Ghana, and Nigeria are among the worst performing in Africa this year, and their currencies continue weakening while demand for foreign exchange remains pressing. Dr. Edward Akanyamake, the president of the Ghana Hotels Association, has said the establishment of the hospitality training school is something that Ghana Hotels Association has been pushing for over the years, and it is part of the recommendations given to the NDC and NPP to this initiative is in line with what they expect as an industry. He added that Ghana is seen as a tourism country, hence the need for a quality standard of service that provide as a country. Meanwhile, the association wants the hospitality training school to focus on in-service training of staff already in the industry. Now, he says that the rationale behind it is that they don't want to, like any hospitality training school, to compete with already existing institutions that offer hospitality training. He said this on ABC in the morning.
Compete with the existing institutions is that we want that new school to focus on in-service training for staff in the industry. Let me emphasize, in-service training for staff in the industry. Okay, that will be based on what we all come to accept and agree as the standards that we expect our hotels and tourism operators to work with in the country. Once we have that, we develop it into a curriculum, and that is what we expect that hotel or hospitality training institute to offer to those who are in the system already. One of the challenges that we've had as an industry is the issue about customer service. People complain a lot about the services they receive at our hotels, from our tour operators, at our tourism sites, and so on. So that's an area that has been identified as needing training. And that will have to do with those who are in the system already. If you are not in the system, then the other training institutions, as I mentioned earlier on, will train you. But once you get into...
And that's all for business. We're back with sports shortly. Do stay. In sports, Gary Lineker, a former England international and Leicester City legend, has commended Ghanaian winger Abdul Fattah Shaiku, referring to him as a special kid. This comes after the 19-year-old's impressive display in Leicester City 3-2 comeback win over Southampton. Shaiku's performance played a crucial role in turning the game around, and his introduction in the second half sparked Leicester's revival.
What a comeback, what a win. I don't know who picks this running order, but I mean, how Leicester went on first today, I'll never know. The game really changed when Fattah came on. I mean, as a Leicester fan, my kids will follow Leicester as well. Every time we've seen the team sheet now and he's not on it, we all go, oh no, not again. Why is he not playing? This kid is special.
Oh, he's a special talent. There was 2-0 down as well, Gary, when he came off the bench. Play 31 minutes, Gary, and to have more touches in the opposition box. I mean, if Steve doesn't start him next week, I don't think he'll be overly happy, but he's a brilliant...
Away from sports, let's bring you some international stories. Two Mozambique opposition prominent figures, Paulo Gumbe, Podemos party representative, and Alvino Diaz, party lawyer, were shot dead on Friday night by unknown gunmen. This came on the back of the October 9th general election has been marked by allegations of electoral fraud and rigging by the ruling Fremilo party. The victim's car was riddled with at least 25 bullet holes. The Podemos party's presidential candidate, Vinicio Mandel, claims the elections were fraudulent, and it is reportedly gathering evidence to contest the process in court. Podemos party has rejected the provisional result, has also announced a nationwide shutdown on Monday in protest against the way elections are being conducted. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki Matmat, has condemned the post-election violence in Mozambique and called for calm and utmost restraint, while urging all political parties and their supporters to allow due process in the overall supreme interest of stability in Mozambique. Let's bring you some entertainment news shortly also. In entertainment, popular Kumawood star Kofi Edu, widely known as Ejako, has publicly declared himself as the greatest actor in Kumawood. He made this statement following comparison by Ghanaians about who is the best among all times in the movie industry. He added that he was targeted by movie directors to bring his dominance down, but all their actions were futile. Well, the national aspiration of the flag bearer of the People's National Convention (PNC) for the 2024 general election seemed to come to an end as they move straight to the High Court dismisses the application against the Electoral Commission, and of course we engage parties on that. Straight to Parliament, where there have been some shutdown on drumming Parliament tomorrow, while the NDC minority says that it's bent on jealously protecting their new status as majority per Speaker's declaration on the 4th vacant seat. Then again, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, also released a provisional results for candidates who sat for the Basic Education Certificate examination for both government schools and private candidates. In business, we brought you the Ghana Association of Hotels, who say they have welcome plans by Dr. Baumia, the flag bearer of the NPP, to establish a hospitality training school to boost tourism. On the international front, we brought you reports where prominent figures, Paulo Gumbe and Pedemo's party representative, Elvis Diaz, party lawyers, have been shot dead following Friday night shooting. For more news, do log on to abcnews.com. It has been a pleasure coming your way. My name is Eric Mello. Do have a good afternoon.